Okay. All right. So short and sweet. And any questions, observations? Was it helpful?
Quick question. Why is gold not responding to inflation so much this past few months?
So that's the what they call it, $64,000 question. It's so the idea was that generally, believe it or not, again, the gold, if you invest in gold because of inflation, you just keep up with inflation. And we found out, from last 100 years that the stock market or the stocks are much better hedge against gold. We've talked about real estate. So there's been a lot of alternatives to gold. So the other thing was obviously with the cryptocurrencies, they thought that might be. Right now, Jean-Claude, it looks like the money is finding safety in the dollar. So the money has
Mm,
been moving to the dollar, and with the stronger dollar and the higher interest rate is affecting the gold and keeping it down for now. So for instance, if I want to, again, uh, use the dollar as a proxy, well, the dollar is going to buy a lot more gold. So either gold has to go down for that 1 unit of dollar. So, and it is still, it puzzles a lot of, pundits, especially gold pundits, that it should have been a lot higher. And especially, the inflation is for real. So also the other thing is right now is the seasonality of gold. And I think, if you hold in this area, usually I have like 1690, 1680 area, we should have a bounce. But you're absolutely right. I mean, from fundamental side, just purely from inflation point of view, the money should have gone to gold. But right now with even with the crisis, you would say, well, that is where it should be. But there's a lot of, behind the scenes. I don't know what is happening with some of the central banks, but the money looks like has been just going to the dollar at this time. So that's has been the safe haven. Unlike, in the past, usually gold is a safe haven. So
and I thought that after the US seized all the Russian dollars, um, that many central banks would move away from, dollar reserves and move back into gold.
yeah.
I was reading, but it doesn't seem to be helping out gold at all, it seems.
No, yeah, that's interesting. But also you have to, I don't want to say it's not a conspiracy, but there are a lot of hands in the supply demand of the market side of things, right? As you know, like for instance, China has been buying cheap oil for the longest time. They've been so what is happening with expensive oil, it really doesn't affect them as much. And they're finding ways. I mean, looking at like Iranian oil, how it finds its way. The same thing with gold. A lot of central banks for years, they can buy and they can unload, and they have these deals which we don't find out till years later. So there is things like that could also be happening. The question is how low they want it to go before, or how high they want the dollar to go before they, activate that, it's the equilibrium as far as the pricing goes. But, as far as the long run, I'm still, looking at gold and silver, finding opportunities, whether as a trading vehicle, but also maybe long term uh, from seasonality point of view, because it's still the idea. And I mentioned about the middle class. Let's say in India, there has been some movement in India, for instance, moving away from gold to, let's say, more Western, like diamond for wedding gifts or buying diamonds. So, but when you talk to, you know um, people of different classes in India, gold still plays a role. So that is still that demand. So when it comes like October, we might see what's going to happen. But yeah, as far as inflation, I think that has puzzled a lot of people. And like you said, with the selling um, with the dollar, now the dollar has been right now, and one of the things that's been interesting about the euro, for instance, today, we are gone back to the lows of last 6, 7 years. I've had this discussion for the last 9 years that we eventually going to hit the parity for euro. And I think we broke a big support for euro right now. So there is that one parity is pretty much in horizons, which again bodes well for the dollar, right? So again, the dollar has been the only game in town, and the money has been moving into it. But I think it's still for a long run. I would be, holding gold, um, basically again based on cycles right now. So
Mhm.
a good question, Jean-Claude. It is a mystery. And Bitcoin didn't do it. So there was a thought that Bitcoin will take over gold, but we don't see that. So
Yeah. Thanks for me.
you're welcome. Any other questions or comments? Helpful, not helpful?
It's always helpful for me.
Thanks, Andy. You've been kind. But yeah, I just thought let's have like 4 slides and just save it, hopefully. So good. Thank you, Henry. Any other questions, comments? Just be aware, like today we had the minutes, and then Friday we'll have the job numbers, the NFP. So yeah, that's interesting to see with almost exactly 3 weeks before the FOMC decision. So food for thought. Anyway, all right. Okay, if there's no other questions, Lucas, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here with so late.
Hi, Ramon.
Hi, Lucas.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the last 2 slides that I saw. I'm actually excited to watch the first part.
Okay.
But yeah, all the stuff about oil and whatnot, I really want to like rewatch the last part just because I was leaving my plane, so I didn't pay attention to all this everything you were saying.
Oh, no problem. You're leaving your plane. Where are you?
I'm in Istanbul right now. I'm boarding to Sweden in like 6 hours.
Okay. Great commitment. Thank you, Lucas. I'll be
Of course.
ending
Thank
up
you.
recording. All right. Have a safe travels. Enjoy your journey.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Ramon.
Of course. Great. All right. With that in mind, if there's no other questions, I'll wish you a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you same channel on Saturday. Have a wonderful, successful week. Bye now.
Bye for me.
Thanks for me.
Bye.
Thank you, Ramon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.